And she laid out all the coupons in this device, this storage unit. And it was computerized. So wherever she put the coupons, it was entered into the computer system. And when she needed coupons, she would enter what coupons she needed and how many of them that she needed. And this robot arm would then go and pick up, if she needed, it suction cup. So if she needed 3, it would make 3 trips, but it would automatically go and get the right coupon for her. And it would deposit them in a neat pile. And then when it was done, it would beep and she'd pick out her coupons. So she could just basically program this thing to get all the coupons that she wanted, walk away and come back, 15, 20 minutes later, and all our coupons are there. Now, but she had to spend, probably a few hours every week cutting out all these coupons and then putting them in the right slots. And then if she added, maintaining the database so the coupons were in the right place and that so the robot knew where to go and get them. But that was innovation. Now, I'm surprised. I don't think that they actually sell that, but that would be something that would start a new business for them, because I'm sure it'd probably cost a pretty penny, but hey, it would probably save people a lot of time. But that was they built this machine themselves. That's American innovation. But my main point is that, regular people, even people that have means, and by no means is it only people driving, cheap burnout cars. People that use coupons drive Mercedes and BMWs and Audis. All walks of life use coupons. And maybe some of them got those expensive vehicles because they're not really spending any money on their groceries. So they're using that to pay for that car. And that's fine. But my question is, and often I see all the time here in southern New Hampshire, there are free couponing classes going on in different libraries in different cities and towns in this state. And I'm sure that's probably the same all over the country. And most of them are free. Don't cost you a dime to go. I mean, these people are very excited to share their knowledge and help you do the same thing that they're doing. And a lot of them say, well, one of the things that the reason why they do it is coupon etiquette, that if they teach people how to use these properly, that, stores will not limit how they're able to use the coupons. Because a lot of stores used to double and triple coupons, but people were abusing the system and that type of thing, and a lot of stores got away from it. So the people who use the coupons properly, they lost out. So they don't want to see that trend continue. So they try to teach people how to properly use the coupons, coupon etiquette, and all that kind of stuff. Great. But what I do not see is government agencies requiring people receiving government assistance to take one of these classes. I mean, if you're using... because what do we had? We had Gwyneth Paltrow a few weeks ago talking about how she decided that she was going to live on what people get for food stamps for a week, $29, which is a crock. They're getting way more than $29 a week from the government to spend on food. But, I guess if they're not spending it on food, they could be spending it on cigarettes and beer and others, and going to the gentlemen's clubs, which is why some states are putting kibosh on that. They're saying, you can't spend, government assistant dollars on certain things. And I know Massachusetts was just there. I think somebody just introduced a bill that you would not be able, they introduced a bill that would not allow people receiving, welfare payments to use those monies that they're getting from the government to buy cigarettes, tobacco products. Well, should have already been in place, but again, I don't see any of them using them. And I don't see anybody teaching them or requiring them to be taught how to use them. You think that if you were not making or getting enough money and that you only had $29, that you'd want to be able to stretch that $29 out as far as you possibly could. Well, how do you do that? By shopping for sales and using coupons. Just a thought. That's kind of, logical. I don't even know how I got on that topic, and I digress too much sometimes, and I apologize for that. No, I don't apologize, because it's on my mind, and which means it's something that needs to be said and discussed and talked about so people understand it and know it, that what's happening out there. Yeah, I never apologize for what I say on the show. Unless I'm wrong. Then I'll say I'm wrong and I'll apologize for being wrong. But that's so rare. I'm rare. There is somebody out there. They accuse me of being an overbearing. Let me see if I can find the Twitter private message. They accuse me of being an overbearing, pompous, arrogant ass. There you have, from a liberal. There you go. So yours truly, Elrod, is an overbearing, pompous, arrogant ass. I guess because I speak the truth, and I'm rarely wrong. So that makes me. If that's what it means to be an overbearing, arrogant, pompous ass, then I accept it. There you go. New England Patriots visited the White House today, except for Tom Brady. Now, this is an annual tradition. The Super Bowl champions go to the and that bears true for all the major sports. Baseball, hockey, basketball. Those champions also end up going to the White House at different times of the year. But football is usually baseball and football are probably the two biggest media coverage ones. And the New England Patriots were up there today for their turn because they won the last Super Bowl. And it was sans Tom Brady. Now, the excuse that was given for Brady not being there is that he had, due to a family commitment. Now, I don't know about you, but if you're invited to the White House to celebrate with your team, your achievement of winning a championship, you kind of move around family commitments, unless somebody is either dying and it's a funeral, or it's a wedding. Now, if it's your wedding, definitely you miss the White House thing. But if it's a family member's wedding, you probably better not miss it, especially if it's a wedding of a family member on your wife's side. You don't want to miss that. But other than that, other than funeral or wedding, or you're in the hospital yourself, you go, especially when you are one of the team captains, and especially when you are one of the NFL's biggest stars. But Tom Brady dissed the White House event today by not showing up. And then I can understand why he probably did. I don't know Tom Brady's politics because he really doesn't espouse whether he's a lefty or a righty. I don't think he does. Now I'm going to assume because he's not. He does have that mansion out there on the left coast, but I don't think he's really into. Well, he is married to that supermodel Giselle, so maybe he is. Maybe he does lean left. Which means that he probably should have been all up in Obama's face then, because he would just go gaga over him. But he is an NFL player, and NFL players they tend to be a little bit more conservative. Now, the NFL itself seems to be moving left. The hierarchy seems to be moving left, but the owners and the players, most of them are right of center, which is really kind of interesting. But he didn't go to the event, and one of the reasons that he probably didn't show up is because the president told a joke that kind of went flat. Ha ha. Yeah, the president gave the players who did attend a hard time about Deflategate. You remember the ball scandal that erupted during the playoff run of the Patriots. And the president says, and I quote, "I usually tell jokes at these events, but I was worried 11 of 12 of them would fall flat." And what the president, and if you heard I heard the audio of this early today. Now, if you heard the audio, you heard some groans in the audience, like, oh, yeah, because it did fall flat. But I don't, I don't know. Whoever told the president that that was a good joke, or whoever wrote that joke for the president, should be fired, because they should know better. That was just that was poor taste. But probably the president thought because he was president and he was Obama that he could get away with it and get a big chuckle. But hey, I usually tell jokes at these events, but I was worried that 11 or 12 of them would fall flat. No, it doesn't work. I wish I had sound effects because I'd be playing the groaning sound. I'll get some. Sound that I once had sound effects before when I did the show previously. I'll have to get those sound effects because it adds a little bit of spice to the program. So, but Tom Brady again was nowhere to be found. And it was due to what they say was a previous family commitment. And I got to tell you, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not like you get invited to the White House all the time. Now, of course, if Obama invited me to the White House for some reason, I would politely turn him down. Because no, I don't want to have a beer with the man. I really don't. And, people say, well, you should go, Rod. Then you could ask him all kinds of questions, and you could really put him on the spot. No, I'd be carted off by the Secret Service. So, because, we'd get into a heated discussion. And the Secret Service would probably think I was going to harm the man. And I wouldn't physically harm him. I just harm his ego, really. Because I'd give him some truth and some facts on this stuff, and that's no. So it's better if I didn't go. I would never get invited anyway. But if by some fluke I got an invitation, I would respectfully decline for those and other various legitimate and logical reasons. Wall Street analysis uncovers Clinton Foundation fraud. Yeah. This stuff with Clinton, it's not going away. This stuff with Clinton is really, it seems to be, it's growing. I mean, there's just more stuff, but I don't know how long the liberals and the Democrats can stand behind this woman. Because now there's something new. Well, it's not really all that new, but now it's this scandal is really ramping up, and this is just piling on to her Benghazi thing scandal and her email gate scandal. And now you want to talk about, everybody's asking where that. Remember when Hillary and Bill left the White House, and Hillary said that they left broken in debt, and now they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Where did they get all the money? Because usually you start, when you become fabulously wealthy, it's usually because you either have a business or you invest, or both. And these people didn't seem to do either one of those things. So where the hell did they get all the money? They couldn't have garnered this type of wealth simply by both of them giving speeches. Now, granted, they earned a ridiculous amount of money for giving a speech. I think Hillary's going rate was like $200,000 a speech, and Bill got anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million a speech. But unless you're doing 300 speeches a year, I don't see how they but people are wondering where they amassed all of this wealth from. Now, if you keep it and don't spend a dime, yeah, it can build up pretty quick. But let's face it, they have two homes, not cheap. We're talking D.C. home and Chappaqua, New York home, not to mention, the Bill's office and everything. It's and they have this Clinton Foundation thing, this nonprofit, and they have the Clinton Library that they had to put. Where did they get all the money? That is what people are starting to ask. And they want seriously, and they want answers to this kind of stuff. Because you don't go from broken in debt to hundreds of millions of dollars without really having a job or starting a business, unless you're a Clinton.